Good evening, traveller of truths and shadows. My name is Harry, and every night I'll write here with stories not just whispered in alleyways or imagined in dreams, but stories rooted in something stranger, possibility. These are the tales you're not meant to hear, the kind whispered through closed doors, redacted from reports, erased from history. And yet, here they are, waiting for you just before sleep. So take a deep breath, let the noise of the world fade, and follow my voice as we step together into the silence that hides just beneath the surface. Tonight's story is called Operation Spiderweb, a mission so hidden its ghost still walks the edges of our time. Through the eyes of a man with no history, you'll see how the invisible can move mountains, or destroy them. Ready? Good. Let's begin. His name was not Anton. That was the name stitched into a wallet buried beneath a concrete slab in Rostov. A decoy, like everything else. But for our purposes, we'll call him Anton Vadenko. He had no known birthplace, no digital trail, no loved ones who spoke of him. His existence was engineered, a phantom built by bureaucrats, trained in places not found on maps. Anton wasn't recruited, he was assembled. A polyglot before the age of 16, disappeared from public view before 20. His earliest missions were minor, signal interception in Georgia, asset extraction in Belarus. But he rose quickly, because Anton did one thing others couldn't. He disappeared, without vanishing. He could be a janitor, a colonel, a professor, a prisoner, depending on the day and the mission. And in 2024, when the war had reached a stagnant, desperate rhythm, Anton became the architect of something that didn't exist. Something called WebStorm. It didn't begin with weapons. It began with fear. Fear that the Russian strategic bombers, deep in the Empire's heartland, could rain fire with impunity. The Tu-95s, Tu-160s, iron beasts launching cruise missiles from the edge of the Arctic Circle, unreachable and untouchable. Anton's mission: change that equation. What he proposed sounded absurd. Let's place mobile drone launch systems inside Russia. The committee laughed, but one man didn't, the general. We'll call him Drozov, a believer in ghosts and shadows. Within months, Anton had everything he needed. Teams of ghost agents fanned out across Russia. They posed as electricians, truckers, nomads. They built tiny homes, literally, wood cabins on wheels complete with windows, chimneys, curtains. Inside, death. Handmade FPV drones, constructed from racing parts, toy store motors, and recycled flight software. Each one cost less than $200, but together they were a swarm. They didn't just fly, they learned. Some used GPS, others had visual recognition powered by a stolen AI model from an abandoned research lab. They knew how to find planes. They knew how to wait. And most terrifying of all, they knew how to wake up. 4 sites, 4 bases, 4 points on the map that most people never hear of. Ostoya, hidden near frozen marshland, home to heavy bombers. Gradov, tucked into pine-covered hills, surrounded by snow even in spring. Lisova, once a civilian airfield, now hardened by war. Vorkin, so deep, so remote, that even the stars felt distant. Each base was a sanctuary, their security, layers of denial. No one can reach this far. Anton made sure they could. The operation was timed like a ballet, every container positioned with compass precision, every drone preheated, primed, fueled with lithium and code. Launch time, 3 a.m. Moscow time. The night was still, no moon. The stars reflected on the metal hulls of parked war machines. And then silence broke. The wooden roofs peeled back, mechanically slow, quiet as a sigh. From the containers they rose, drones with red diodes like demon eyes, climbing low, hugging tree lines, gliding like bats under radar coverage. Some were decoys, others were killers. None were visible on radar. In Gradov, a man smoking outside heard a buzz and turned upward, just in time to see a black triangle rush past the moon. He told no one. The drone hit 7 seconds later, but Anton had a favorite target. The A-50, known by its call sign, Hawk Eye, a flying brain, command in the clouds. It saw everything, coordinated fighters, warned of threats, gave generals godlike perspective. Anton hated it because it believed it was divine. He watched one take off from Lisova the week before launch. He was 10 meters away, dressed as a maintenance tech, eyes hidden behind a cap. The jet's turbines screamed as it lifted into the dusk. He smiled. That A-50 exploded mid-air at 3:14 a.m., hit by a drone launched 900 kilometers away. 4 more would follow. Russian command said it was an electrical fire, but the world had already seen satellite footage. Flames, wings sheared, radar domes tumbling. The gods had bled. How did he coordinate all this? Not through emails, not even encrypted apps. Anton used time. Each instruction was embedded in packets, couriered, memorized, or left in dead drops hidden in bus depots, cemeteries, hotel Bibles. One drone team received their command via a specific radio jingle broadcast from a weather station. Another through a power outage that lasted exactly 17 minutes. And Anton himself? He spoke once. A shortwave transmission sent 3 days before the operation. White noise, then 6 pulses, then silence. Only 2 men alive knew what that meant. And one of them, you're listening to his story. After the strike, Russia denied everything. At first. Then the videos came. Then the satellite photos. Charred hangars, crumpled bombers, shadows on the concrete where wings had been. The A-50s were gone. The Tu-95s looked like broken birds. A crater 12 meters wide gaped in the runway at Vorkin. For 36 hours not a single strategic bomber flew. The balance had shifted, and somewhere in Istanbul a diplomat smirked across a peace table and said, "We know your reach now, because power isn't what you have, it's what others believe you can touch." Anton vanished 2 hours after the final drone hit. His escape was already planned. He crossed a border disguised as a mute Belarusian priest. No one checked his papers. They never do for priests. He took a ferry north, then a bus, then a bicycle. The last confirmed sighting. A photo from a small fishing town in Finland. He was sipping tea, watching birds. But a man like Anton never really disappears. Maybe he's in Buenos Aires now, selling maps. Maybe he's in Seoul, teaching chess. Maybe he's 3 seats behind you on your next flight. And maybe, just maybe, when the next explosion happens 1,000 kilometers from where it should, he's the one walking away from it, without ever looking back. Anton didn't sleep for the 3 days leading up to the strike, not because he was afraid, but because in his world, sleep meant vulnerability. Instead, he wandered rooftops in a forgotten industrial town, watching trucks move through fog, listening to the cold click of his pocket timer. Each hour he ran simulations in his head: routes, wind speeds, radar shadows, response delays. His mind was a battlefield of possibilities. He knew what he was doing wasn't just military, it was spiritual. To strike this deep into the empire was to remind the world that empires rot from the center, not the edges. And as he watched the horizon flicker with factory flame and nocturnal trucks, he whispered to himself, "Even titans can bleed." The aftermath wasn't silence, it was chaos. Russian state media played piano music. Announcers smiled nervously. Words like incident and weather malfunction echoed across broadcasts. But the online world saw the truth. Satellite images posted by a Hungarian student. Telegram footage from a janitor who filmed the base after curfew. A flash of orange, then smoke, and then silence. Anton watched it all from a cabin in the Baltic. He logged onto an open network cafe, ordered black coffee, and scrolled through fake accounts watching real panic. He saw hashtags, he saw protests, he saw fear. "Information is the second strike," he murmured. And he was right. You'd think Anton was alone, but he wasn't. There were 3 others like him, not friends, not enemies, just mirrors. There was Elle, a woman who had once embedded herself in Russian military logistics by marrying a colonel's brother. There was Marek, who spoke 10 dialects and could disassemble a missile with a butter knife. And there was the quiet one, who Anton never heard speak, but who always arrived before the mission began and left once it ended. These weren't heroes. These weren't patriots. They were systems, ideas, instruments. And together, for 1 week in May 2025, they were the nerve system of a modern myth. One of the drones had a message scribbled on its underside. "This is for Kramatorsk." Another, "A spider weaves in silence." Anton didn't know who wrote them. The agents worked autonomously. But those phrases reminded him of something simple. Symbols are louder than missiles. That's why, during planning, Anton insisted every drone be fitted with a tiny light, just red enough to be seen, just dim enough to be missed. He knew one of them would be spotted, and someone, a guard, a pilot, a boy looking out the window, would see it and feel the chill. That moment of realization, worth more than detonation.